Yeah, guys, welcome back to the channel. We start here today with some impressions from the Vienna vineyards and a tour de horizon through my pizza journey. I'm sure this is something you have or will all go through in one or the other way, and you're familiar with the thing that you see in just a few moments. So before we get into details here on the Ooni Pro and on the Ooni Koda 16, we'll start with some general thoughts on pizza ovens. I've been asked so many times which one of my pizza ovens is my favorites and I do prefer over time. As you probably know from my other videos here on the channel, I've had several pizza ovens over the years. There have been big wood-fired ovens among them, like the Giro Subito Cotto and the Pizza Party oven. I sold these again over time due to several reasons. First and most important for the big wood-fired ovens, like the Giro, is that they just consume such a high amount of energy. Whether you use gas or propane or wood, these just take up to 6 kilograms or 1.2 kilograms of propane per hour. This does only make sense if you cook pizzas all day, where you need the characteristics of such an oven, like it retains the heat for a very long time and so on. To cook 2+ pizzas at once, you have to be very experienced in pizza making. This just causes stress to me over the time, and so it was no fun at all. The Onis, on the other hand, they just use quite few propane. This is just 0.45 kilograms for the Pro and 0.5 kilograms for the Koda 16 per hour. The Pizza Party oven over the time was just too small in the door, so it was no fun to work with. So for me, it came down somehow to keeping my Ooni ovens, the Pro and the Koda 16. For our family purpose, we are 5 here plus some occasional pizza parties. This turned out to be the best solution. I like to share some thoughts of both units with you today. And let's dive into this and let me know in the comments down below what you think is your favorite pizza oven. I've had the Ooni Pro now for 1 year and it somehow never let me down for everything that I needed. You can see the body here is after 1 year undercover in bad weather, still in pretty good shape inside and out. When it comes to firing the unit, since half a year or so, I do not use the wood-fired option anymore, though it is convenient to have it. I just do not want to deal with the mess the smoke makes in the oven. It creeps in just every part of the unit and you cannot use the door somehow because it is full of smoke and you cannot see through it anymore. So it's just annoying. I did not see or taste quite a difference between the gas or wood option. There is just no hassle with the propane option, so it is my first and now even the only choice for the Pro. The body of the Koda 16 is built in a kind of a different way as the Pro. They are both quite bulky, so it is not very easy to carry them around. You might want something else if you plan to carry these units around all the time. The materials used on the Koda 16 seem to be of a good and sturdy quality. The Pro falls back here a little with its thin steel sheets. For me, it is somehow a little tricky to get the Koda 16 up to the max temperature because it just loses so much heat to the front door opening. Sometimes it goes up to the max temperature, sometimes it does not. The heat difference anyway for this unit for the front and the back is so high that for me it is just no fun to make the pizza with it. On average, you'll have up to 150 plus degrees centigrade of heat difference between the front and the back. This is, in my opinion, a faulty construction and it results in the need to just rotate the pizza constantly in the oven, and it makes it nearly impossible to cook the advertised 16-inch pizzas. It's convenient though for like say 12 to 13-inch pizzas. I'd like to talk about a little bit the stones, the doors and the vents now. With the original stones, it is very convenient to use the front door or the pizza door of the Ooni Pro. You just need a little practice for the latter, but you get used to it. The full door makes, of course, a somehow more even cook, since the heat cannot escape so much through the opening, which is maybe one of the biggest faults of the Koda 16. Just make sure to use the ceiling and the chimney vents correctly. For a maximum heat with the full door on, you just close the ceiling vents with the little space left for the oxygen and close the chimney vents almost full as well. You'll get up to 450 degrees Celsius in just 25 minutes or so. Then open the vents individually for a temperature decrease. For the pizza door, just close the ceiling vents fully like this. The chimney vent does not matter here at all. The stones are interchangeable with the Pro. You can even put a larger biscotto like you see here, like a saputo into the Ooni when you screw out the bottom screws. And yet talking about hacking these things and screwing screws in and out. So the drawbacks mainly of the Koda 16 made me think of how I use these ovens, and I came across a video on YouTube where a guy was making a rotating stone in an Ooni 3, and I decided to give this a try as well. I'll link my videos to the manual and the e-power hack here so that you can check it out. And this completely made me change the way of how I use these Oonis. You can, by the way, use these hacks in almost any of the small pizza ovens like the Ardora, the Alpha Pizza, the Rockbox, and of course the Oonis. I just heat up the oven to the preferred temperature, put the pizza in onto the stones and rotate the stone by hand or with the motor. And in the end, there is just the perfect cooked pie, without any hassle or risk of burning the edges. I learned to love this hack as well on the Pro, so I would not like to live without it anymore. It's just super convenient. So when you've cooked your pizza and maybe something happened to you, like it happened to every one of us, you maybe have to clean the mess, and you can clean the stones from the Pro just heating up the unit to the max temperature, even with propane. This is like 480 or to 500 degrees Celsius. In these temperatures, everything that is left on the stone, be it rests of food or flour or burnt pizza, dissolves with the so-called pyrolysis, which is a chemical process of a thermal decomposition where all material left on the stone just dissolves. This is super important for a pizza oven because it can easily happen that a pizza breaks or you have some sauce left on the stone, etc. You cannot quite clean a pizza stone in another way. Some people use a blowtorch for this purpose, but of course the pyrolysis in the oven itself is much more efficient and will clean the stone more even. That comes to another drawback of the Koda 16. Due to this, in my opinion, a little faulty construction, you cannot clean the stone with the pyrolysis. I tried everything, I contacted the manufacturer, but with no real success. Finally, I had to make a hack for this issue as well, that I'll link here as well for you to check it out, that you can clean the stone for the Koda 16. So I'd like to talk about a little bit about the propane burners, since this is my actual only way of heating these units. The gas burners for the units differ a lot. The L-shaped burner of the Koda 16 is, I think, more a marketing gag from Ooni. In theory, you would have to rotate the pizza only once with this kind of burner, but it does just not work with this much of a heat difference on the stone, so it is more or less useless. But the burner is super nice for the flame, and it is super resistant to any wind turbulences when cooking. The burner on the Pro is solid, but very likely to lose the flame by any stronger breeze. This can be annoying, but actually it just happened twice or 3 times in the time that I had the Pro. So since pizza is not the only thing here, when it comes to cooking other dishes like pizza in the Pro, this one is just fine. I usually do not cook that much of other stuff in the outdoor oven. I did Palm Anna once, which is a lovely potato dish, super easy because the temp control is so great in the Pro. The Koda 16 in this respect is so far away from being epic as advertised as one galaxy from another. This thing is just a food burning machine due to the mentioned drawbacks, mainly the temperature differences on the stone. You can watch people on YouTube burning their steaks like hell with this thing. So my final thoughts on these two units are, I've made a list here for you to check out for the pros, and another list for the cons of both of the units. So from my list, you can see that every unit has its drawbacks and its pros. I would say, though, that the Pro, from my pizza making point of view, is much less of a faulty construction than the Koda 16. After 2 months of use with the Koda 16, it just seems that this unit is more like a marketing gag as a real pizza oven. With the hacks I made to the ovens, they are, at least for my purposes, both capable of making the best possible pizza you can imagine. Maybe the Pro a little more than the Koda 16, so this is my absolute favorite here. In the end, though, guys, I quite often think back on the days where I fired up the Zio Giro Subito Cotto with the 6 kilograms of hard wood an hour, and I had a perfect cooking experience like the Pro Pizzaiolo. This is Amora, so unreasonable. So let's see what the future brings for my pizza oven and have fun making your pizza.